Okay, so welcome, Maya. How are you?
I'm very good. Very happy to be here. Mhm.
I love your smile. You are in Costa Rica, correct?
Yes, I am in Playa Negra, Costa Rica.
Ah,
Uh,
okay.
Black Sandy Beach.
Oh, okay. Um, we can talk about it some other time, but I was like, I'm also like very interested in Costa Rica, but we do that privately. So,
Okay.
um, the what I'm interested in is your story of how you moved in your spiritual life and what were the catalysts that brought you from one frequency to a higher frequency, becoming more aware, the shifts, and then ultimately also the work that you do.
Okay. So at that time, I was living in Senegal, and I used to work as an HR manager in a big NGO that was providing air services in war zones. And yeah, I had this argument with my director, very tough argument about, philosophical argument. And I just decided to quit. I said, I'm gone. And actually, 2 days after, my stepmother called me to announce that my father has a brain tumor and he just have 1 week left. Uh, that's what the doctor said at that time. So I'm a single child. So I was like, okay, I have to go back to France to spend that week with my father. And very intuitively, I don't know where it comes from, but I took the book of Life and Death, the Tibetan book of Life and Death, in the plane, and I read this book straight away to the death part, not in the life
What
part.
was the book called again?
The book of
Life and
Life
Death?
and Death, like the
Okay.
Tibetan book of Life and Death,
I think I've heard it.
and
Okay, continue. Hmm.
it's actually a true manual from the Tibetan perspective of how we are meant to live and how we are meant to die. And so I used it as a guideline for how will I help my father to go on the other side, right? And so I arrived, and yeah, it was not conscious anymore. He was able to talk, but it was not able to have like a proper aware conversation. And but he recognized me, and he was just like, "Ah, it's okay. Like it's just like a normal control, and like we're gonna be back home like in 2 or 3 hours and everything." And I discovered I had to tell him that nope, this is not the case. Like people give you 5 days, and I
Oh.
realized nobody has told him. And so yeah, we took that time, and I don't know. And very intuitively, I decided that anyway, it was condemned, So I decided
Wait,
to
your
yeah.
audio changed somehow a little bit. I don't
Sorry,
know what
is it better
I
now?
yeah, now it's better.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
the last two sentences maybe.
Yeah. So actually, I realized that he was condemned and that the hospital was doing, research on his tumor, but there was no way out. So I decided to convert the room into a space for rituals, like
Ah,
accepting
okay.
like this, like as I could have written in my book. Okay.
Hmm.
So I
And
bought incense.
that came from the Life and Death book, the idea or
No, the idea came from me, but it was in the
ah,
continuation of, at some point you are in a veil. Like it's normal that your brain is not functioning properly because you feel like death is taking you away. And so this is very important for the family to be around and to just accept that and be with them and to just let them go through this, accepting it and showing love is there anyway, and they're gonna jump into something that is even you know, maybe beautiful, or we don't know, maybe more beautiful, maybe more loving, And so, yeah, I did that intuitively. And the funny thing is just he was not dying anymore. So it took like a month and a half before I was like, okay, I need to go back to Senegal because my life is there. And the
hmm.
doctors were just like, we don't understand what's going on. Like, why? Like, we were sure that like it has like just 1 week left.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, with a lot of sadness, I decided to say goodbye and go back to Senegal to be with my family. At that time, my son was very young,
Mm-hmm.
and he actually passed away in the 10 days following.
Mm.
Um, Actually, that was very sad. Of course, I love my father, but like this experience taught me that the conversation that we can have with our body when we are in the honesty where we because basically in the hospital we were just like watching TV, amazing travel documentary, and we were just in the bed, him and I, like, and he was saying bullshit all the times, and I was having fun, and it was just like we were waiting somehow. But it
Mm-hmm.
was like pure joy,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I think he stayed longer because we had this connection we never had before.
Ah, okay.
In the sense of there is no expectation from a father to a daughter or to a daughter from her father. There is no reality left around. There is just
Mm-hmm.
like two beings,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and of course massage and cuddling. And so yeah, when I came back to Senegal, I was like, oh, I hate to be touched by people, and I hate to touch people. That was my thing. But
Mm-hmm.
I learned that there was something there.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how I jumped into a Thai massage class out of the blue.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And after 2 days, the teacher, she came to me and she's like, okay, there is something there. Like it sounds like you've done that your entire life. And I'm just like, no, I hate to touch people. And she's just like, okay, you should go to Thailand and investigate more. And that was the beginning of my path into body work. After that, I learned traditional Thai massage, dynamic Thai massage, osteo Thai massage, and then shamanic massage,
Wow.
um, and that has become my my daily life. I was giving those treatments back in Senegal, like uh, 7 days, 24 hours. Like I was working all the time
Wow.
until COVID, and until I realized like people were coming on my mat and they were crying. And they usually come because they have a pain or something, but they were systematically crying. And so I discovered I have to investigate that and to understand what is the link between the body and the emotion. But this is was about,
Mm.
8 years ago. So now it's a very, normal topic. But at that
Mm-hmm.
time, to be releasing tension through the body, that was not very, common to hear.
True.
And so this is how I jumped into applied epigenetic course as well as trauma release therapy, and yeah, and I began to work on the relationship on the body and mind, so on the
Mm-hmm.
somatic practices. And yeah, then going to India, learning until I arrived to Costa Rica, um, and and I'm like, okay, I help the people heal from their pattern and from their pain, but somehow they are never free. They are
Mm-hmm.
always looking for something else, like they're constantly like circling on themselves, like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like how the personal development is becoming, like the major topic of your life. And I've been there myself, like becoming a very egoistic person. And it's just like this is not helping the community. So I went to different tribes here as well in Colombia and meeting the plant medicine as well. And I discovered this. So just like, okay, the true healing happens when you had a purpose. And this purpose is outside of yourself. It's for the community. It's for something bigger than you. Like it's somehow like being in service. Because what I've noticed is this: all the people who were very happy were actually not constantly looking at themselves, but invested in project for the greater good,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I did. And this is how I was beginning to offer my services here in Costa Rica, like doing more ceremonies, less massages and more shamanic style ceremonies and so on and so on, until I got myself my own depression.
Okay.
And yeah, out of the blue, coming back from Burning Man,
That's going
I'm
to be interesting. Okay.
yeah, I'm with my friend. We're in Burning Man. It's an amazing experience, and I come back, and all of a sudden, I'm not able to wake up in the morning. I don't want to stand on my feet. I feel I'm shit, like literally, and it's not going away. And I'm just like, I'm a therapist. I have all the tools, and I'm applying all those tools, and it's not working. What is it? And it took me 3 months to realize that even though I have all the tools, the one that I couldn't get is the acceptance. I thought I was accepting myself. I thought I was accepting my patterns. I worked on my shadow side and so on and so on. But just to be with me in my bed and seeing myself not able to wake up and to stand and to do what I have to do as a mother, as a partner, and anything, that was creating so much shame and guilt. And I was not loving myself anymore.
Oh.
And I discovered this. I was just like, okay, what is it if I like I need to go through all those seeking and understanding to realize that okay, actually just need a space where I can be with myself what it is right now, and accept it for what it is. And I'm gonna cry my shit, and I'm gonna be hating myself, and I'm gonna be, you
Can
know,
I ask you, you
well,
when you
yeah,
said you said you didn't accept yourself in various ways while you were doing the work that kind of was your mission, your soul mission, etc. I what was exactly that which you didn't accept about yourself? Like because you were speaking about something your mother yeah, the way you were the mother to your child or something like that?
yeah, yeah. It's a good question. It's just like at that time, I in Costa Rica, it was difficult for me to be paid for my work,
Mm,
and more than that, I didn't want to be paid for my work because in this perspective of what I'm doing is for the greater good,
mm-hmm.
put a price on my work, I was somehow feeling I was betraying myself, you know. But didn't want to see it. And more than that, I was very stubborn on the fact that being paid means, I'm not doing this for the greater good. And I
Ah,
couldn't see that.
it reminds me of Edgar Cayce or Edgar Casey when he started taking money for his sessions and then his power went away. And he stopped
Exactly.
taking the money again and the power came back, which is
Yeah.
super interesting. Just immediately when you said the story that came to me. So and I think we as healers, we know that there is this undercurrent of what is the actual exchange and it's I for me it's not so much are we worthy of that exchange, it's more like is it correct because you're offering something that's basically universal rather than
Totally.
material, you're on a higher frequency kind of. So how
Hmm.
do you see that? Yes.
Yeah, I see that exactly the way you say. It's just like, is it adequate? Really, for me, I think also the healers normally they are in service of a tribe or a community or a group of person. And what I've seen working very well in Colombia or in Peru and other places is like the healers is also doing another job. Like most of the time is gardening or selling plants or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when he does the job of healing, like is getting gift
Mm-hmm.
and is gifted, is not paid, which is a beautiful difference. And also, it means like the the people recognize the value and they can also offer, food or whatever the healer would need in the house. And this is exactly what I could see myself in my life. It's just like I was not abundant. I was very abundant, but not in cash in my pocket. Yeah.
Like
And
Bashar
there was
says, abundance comes in many forms.
exactly,
Unfortunately, rarely in money.
exactly. And so the fact that I was living with my partner who was the one who was providing with the cash. And in Costa Rica, it's very expensive. There was a sense of being codependent economically. And all of a sudden, I wanted to live from my work, right? And I couldn't. And this paradoxical situation was like a rising this depression because I tried very hard to sell my services as like a normal uh, service providers. And it was not working anymore. And so I was left with no work, no money, even though I was okay. Like my partner was there to support and everything. I was gifted with this, but I couldn't accept this for
Hmm.
myself. It's like, what would be my life is I'm not able to afford myself my own living if I do what I'm doing the best in my life and doing for the greater good.
Hmm.
Um, and actually, when I accepted to stay with it, and accept it. And I was just like, this is the way it is. Like maybe I'm going to be a very old woman living in the mountain in the little community, and I'm going to be like doing my plants and massage and giving tips to the kids and whatever. And they just gift me with a little of rice. And well, if it is what it is what it is.
Mm.
And all of a sudden, the joy came back. It's just like, whoop, you know,
Wow. Okay. That's super interesting. Yeah.
yeah,
So maybe there was like because joy from my side, I feel it comes from the sacral chakra. So there was, and of course, the money root chakra. So it's
yeah,
it's like almost as if you released by letting go, you release the blockage in the first two chakras.
exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah. And once it was done, I was my seeker mentality, the one who needs to understand. I'm a full stellium in Gemini. I have a lot of Sag as well, and so in Astro, I like to understand
What's your
things.
star sign? What's your sun sign?
My sun sign is Gemini,
Gemini and ascendant?
ascendant in Virgo, of course,
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
but Moon in Capricorn.
Ah, okay.
So like trying to make things in
Hey.
boxes too, yeah. And Venus and Cancer, and Mars in Gemini too. So yeah, it's a lot about caring, but also understanding and being joyful and being free and being traveling. And so yeah, when the seeker came back after the depression was going down, I was just like, oh, so actually what I would have needed was just a space, someone who would be holding the space for me to be able to reach that point and to go through it with all the
Mm.
fear it has created, like with seeing myself. I've been doing ayahuasca before that, and but the fear of scarcity was way more challenging than ayahuasca, and I was just like, wow, this is so interesting.
So when
How
you did the ayahuasca, did you do the ayahuasca before the acceptance or after?
before?
Before. And it didn't come up in the ayahuasca, or did it come
No,
up? Okay, okay,
no.
okay. So basically, in your very conscious, active conscious state, you recognized you had like this awareness of, oh my God, I'm not enjoying this. I have a blockage there, etc. And then at some point you had like the moment, okay, now I need to let go.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah. And needing to let go and also to just stay with what is happening in the body when you don't let go. Because
Yes.
this is just like I'm not letting go, and I think that is as like torturing myself, my body. I have no energy. I want to smoke. Something that came back from out of the blue, like, and I'm just like, what is it that I'm doing myself now? Where is it coming from? I don't get it. And the judgment on this,
Mm.
it's what actually, for me, was killing me. This for me, this is where this is the trick. This judgment is the non-acceptance of what we are going through, and there was a sense of, as a therapist, I cannot be smoking. This is not possible.
Well, some shamans smoke.
Yeah. And so I could see like my actually my body was like, this used to be your coping mechanism. This is what
Hmm.
we're gonna do. I don't care about you think. I don't care about your principles. This is what we're gonna do, you know? And I was just like, no, 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 this is not possible, until I discovered I just have to allow my body to bring me where I wanted to bring me, so I can understand in my consciousness what was going on.
This is you have a very interesting story because it sounds like you were in many cases like already connected upwards and kind of hyper aware in a way because because of what happened with your father, you immediately kind of knew what to do, creating that kind of space, and then it very like almost like organic, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was like organically it developed into this kind of uh and you seem to have a strong root chakra because you were able to move to all these places, Colombia, like you said, and the Thailand and everything to learn all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, did you have to release fear at that time, or were you like you were so pulled into that energy, into that vision, into the idea that you just did it?
Yeah, I'm in human design. I'm 3/6,
Mm-hmm.
which is like a structure where actually the structure is very strong, and there is a sense of jumping into the experience
Mm.
and make it work, and then digest it.
Ah, okay.
So I'm always I used to work that way for my 31st year, I guess, 35, almost 40, where I would jump into something, whatever the consequence, sometimes very tough, but I would do this, and then I have to integrate and to heal myself to to take a normal stability level in my energy and everything. But I would jump first and think afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And now
That's a
I'm,
very
I'm
good.
now I'm
It's
growing.
a good trait to be successful.
Yeah, I successful. Yeah, and also that was the question. What does it mean for each of us to be successful? What is success?
Yeah, I mean,
Because it,
yeah. What I like is that because I mean, with your star sign profile, with your astrological profile, and you as you being able to assimilate a lot of different informations, and then, like you said, integrating it, it sounds to me like someone who reads soul plans of other people. Sometimes it sounds like to me mm, uh, like you just needed for someone else, which was your partner or is your partner, to hold that container until you reach that level, kind
yeah,
of spiritual knowledge. Because before, of course, when you were HR in Senegal, you were not there yet. So and then you reach that kind of the threshold where it
exactly.
stands kind of on its own feet and you release yourself, basically your root chakra and your sacral chakra. So it's like you're really on this very like bow and arrow, this kind of like on this path.
Hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and also my Saturn return was having a child.
Mm.
So, 27, I was mother, and I also have intuitively the sense of, okay, I will not give birth in a hospital. I need to do it without peridural. I need to feel in my body what it is. And at
Hmm.
that time, I was not at all into the holistic world. It was just like a pure insight of, no, like all the women since the ancient time are doing it without this. I can do it, you know. And
Yeah,
this
that's
is
good.
yeah, and this is another experience. I was just like, wow. I When I gave birth, I remember I saw the entire universe exploding in my eyes. At the moment I released when he went out, I was just like, whoa. I see it in my eyes. And then I
Mm.
discover afterward, like, it's just like, okay, yeah, this is a DMT shot. And I was just like, oh, whoa, you know? And so, yeah, life for me is so interesting. You know, it's
Mm.
we got so much to discover, to understand, and the juicy part is the elder we are becoming, the more understanding we get on all what we have been through since we're born.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is crazy. Yeah.
And that all of that experience led you to Costa Rica.
hmm
And in Costa Rica, you basically mounted this kind of like where you help people. Where do they come from, the people? Like, do they come
yeah.
from all over the world? They come from United States or where they come from?
So when we arrived here, we decided to do a mud house with a very
Mm-hmm.
ecological house.
Mm-hmm.
So, so it took a year. And then it took a year for me to create my shala, which is a very simple place, like just a mosquito net, four walls with a mosquito net and a roof. And this is enough for doing the work. And I was offering, you know, like everything separately, like the massage, the ceremony, the holistic coaching, or whatever. And very recently, I decided to create this one-on-one retreat, whether it's 5 days or 10 days. And basically, I I promote it on internet, maybe mainly. So being situated in Costa Rica, close to Liberia, I mostly have American people, Canadian people, but I also have people coming from all over the world. Like I have maybe someone coming from Taiwan. Of course, I have former clients from Senegal. And so it's a various space where whether you're in a transition in your life because you're getting divorced or like you gotta grieve something or like you have a burnout or whatever, and you just need a place where you're gonna be handled epigenetically on the body level. So it's
Mm-hmm.
plant-based food, amazing smoothies, and being in nature. I look at that. I'm very sorry you were not able to hear the monkeys, but he was there just before.
Oh, yes, that would be nice.
So yeah, we hit from the garden, the fruits from the garden. We have the water from the underground river,
Oh,
things like that.
nice.
You know, like it's a
Mm-hmm.
very following the epigenetical principles.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a space where I'm there 24/7 to go through with the person. And that's just like I'm not doing
Wow.
the job for her. I'm just like offering tools, whether it's somatic release therapy, massage, ceremonies, warm healing therapy, and I offer
And
different tools.
how do you decide the modality for the person? Is it more like intuitively, or do you have like a protocol or
Process, yeah.
mm,
The process
process?
is like before the person arrive, we do a one-on-one call where like she expresses everything she wants to work on and her intentions basically. She comes with a questionnaire, like very precise, and a recapitulation of his entire life.
Ah.
We open the circle on the first day, and then we're gonna go one or two chakras per day on body, mind, spirit activities. So
Mm.
every day, it's for example, of course, we begin with the body, so it's gonna be like movement or somatic healing in the morning. Then we go more towards psychology, pattern, shadow work, you know, midday. And in the afternoon, it's more like a spiritual connection, whether it's creativity, astrology reading, human design, whatever. And every day we follow up this arc. And if you do like if you do the 6 day retreat, it's two chakra per day. And if you do the 10 days, it's one chakra per day. And the last day is a full recapitulation,
Mm-hmm.
preparing for reintegration in your life. And it's just like lighting the lights, doom, 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 you know,
Yeah,
one by one.
I love how if I see it visually, like you pick people from the world, then they come to you and like you raise their frequency. This is perfect for Awakening Camp podcast. You raise their frequency and then you set them again into the world.
Yes, yes.
That's fantastic.
I I try to raise the frequency, but they are doing it. Like I
Mm,
am here to support and offering tools that again we'll be able to bring back home,
yes.
but I'm not doing the work for them. I'm more like the one who's just like, yeah, I know what you're going through. I see you. I love you. You're gonna make it. Keep going, you know?
I have an interesting question, I think, that you said that you went a little bit away from the massages and went more into like the shamanic work
Uh-huh.
and uh that I'm curious about. Like what made you move from the massages into the more like shamanic work, or how do you balance that? Or is it because you felt, for example, I was a tantra masseur for women, so
Mm.
I did around 1,000 massages with women, and so there were many moments where I felt it's as a high sensitive person, especially if the person was very dense in their energy, there was something going on. It felt like I needed a few days of reset, and that made it a little bit difficult sometimes. Was that one of the reasons, or was it something else?
Um, this, of course, I went through for sure. Like working energetically with people very charged, it's difficult. Like it requires a lot of rest. So yes, that was. But the true reason was more that when I entered the massage community, especially in Thailand, there was a lot about all the tricks that you can do. You know, like oh, I can do this, I can do this, I can take you this way, I can do like that, and it's almost acrobatic yoga massage, right? And it's just like it's very impressive, and I was drawn by it. I loved it.
Why are you
I
hanging from the tree?
exactly, but there was
It's a
this. It's
new
just like
technique.
the rope massage, when you hold the rope and you walk on people and everything. Like I loved it and I wanted to discover everything. But when I was working in Senegal and I discovered how much that was not my technique, but more my intention, like the quality of my presence that was creating this deep release. I
Mm.
slowly my technique changed, like the way that I was holding, like the my hands and the using my knees, using my elbows, and it was more like loving people's shoe gesture than applying a technique. And so
Ah.
sometimes I would just like put my hand on the heart with such a full intention that the body will react like just like like this trauma release
Wow.
shaking
Okay.
that you get, and
You felt that intuitively by the amount of sessions that you did? So you feel, or was it something that you learned something in where you were like, oh, I read this and then I try it, or was it just like you realized that by changing your intention, your conscious like touch, that it was already doing its work?
I would compare it to what you can live in a couple. Like you think you know how to make love until, with the energy of other people, you feel like, oh, I can go to that space. Oh, when I do this is happening, like it's the embodied experience. And if you're good at listening it and you're just like, okay, is it just because it's this person? If I do it again with another person, what's happening? And then I've seen that. It's just like I cannot apply the same thing to every people. It's not working. I have to
Hmm.
find a way to tune in with the person so it will be specifically for her. And after a lot of repetition, it has become my way until
Hmm.
I felt, guilty towards my masters in Thailand. I was just like, oh, if they saw me right now, they would just like, what are you doing? You know, this is not the way, right? So that's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying I went slowly towards shamanic, um, because then at some point it's not even a massage. It's like doing what needs to be done in the very moment, whether
Yes,
it's like you
exactly.
using the feathers, like, okay, like she's going through this. Okay, take a little rose essential oil. Like, oh, okay, it's calming her down until she can go back into her process or whatever. It's
I can
So
so
it's
much
always,
relate.
so sorry, yeah, just to finish, it's just
Yeah,
always
yeah,
very
sure.
based on the body. It's always
Hmm.
very based on the body. I work the body mainly, and my intuition comes from what I feel in my mouth and in my hands, it's just like a snake,
Hmm.
But then it goes somewhere else, it's a trance basically. It's not massage anymore.
I can extremely relate because when I started massaging, I started because I had awakening through Muji. So I didn't
Hmm.
have the intention. I was like, no, I'm gonna massage women, but it was more
Yeah,
like it was a download, a message, and then every single session I would just sit in silence, completely just present, no thoughts. And already, like you say, exactly like you say, already in that space, the person opens up, sometimes even starts to cry before even touch happens. Yeah. Because
exactly.
you're
Yeah,
holding, the nervous system relaxes because they intuitively feel that you're holding the safe space. And
exactly.
unless you have that higher consciousness, you're not able to hold the safe space.
Mm-mm.
Because I remember an ex-girlfriend of mine, she said she wanted to do a session with me. And I'm like, sure, I'm open. And then there was some release. But as soon as I started to speak my truth, she got defensive and aggressive because she wasn't able to hold the space. So, and that makes, I think that makes the best healer ever is if you can hold any kind of space from that. Some people would call it Christ consciousness or pure awareness or silence or whatever, just being super present and flowing with that intuitive feeling that you get the download.
Yeah, and I think, as you said, like it's super difficult with your partner or members of your family. This is almost impossible.
Yeah.
My partner is constantly saying, like, why is not, why don't you want to massage me? And my son is just like, well, when you do this to me, it's like it's painful. I don't get like all the clients that are very happy. They're just like, wow, this was wonderful. For us, it's always painful. I'm just like, how?
What is also interesting is the different to me. I mean, speaking from one massage
Yeah.
therapist to the other, it's super interesting how some people are super sensitive to their energy bodies, and others are so dumbed down, kind of like,
Uh-huh.
or you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
sure.
like, yeah. So I did, for example, I have a technique I call chakra breathing, and sometimes I do it with someone if it organically evolves, and then sometimes people are like, I don't feel anything, and I'm like, what? You don't feel what's going on? That's
Yeah.
interesting. But the interesting thing is that when somebody comes to your session and you do these things, then even though the person doesn't necessarily feel it or immediately, it does have the effect. And then
Hmm.
as you keep repeating it, I think their sensitivity to it will grow if they feel
Yeah.
that that's something they want to repeat, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And also sometimes like the releasing comes at night in the
Mm.
unconscious mind. Like many people, they used to call me and say, oh, I had very bad nightmares. So now I tell to the people, okay, don't get attached. You have some of, you have some nightmares probably because something is shifting in the unconscious and the body needs to verify if it's possible. So it's very okay. Don't be too much attached to what you see in your nightmares. It's
I love this
just
because
like,
we have the same kind of experiences and with ourselves and with clients. And one thing that I used to do is when somebody was in a session and then I would tell them take a paper and a pen at night and whatever images, visions, emotions come up, write them down. And I always meant like write a paragraph or two. And I remember was a woman who had a huge heart chakra opening.
yeah.
And the next time she comes, she wrote like three papers, like really like the A4 papers and everything. I was like, okay, that's a bit much, but I was taking it in all of it. And we were like there 20 minutes. She was reading me the papers.
Oh,
Yeah. So
wow.
yeah, so that's I recognize the same thing, yeah. So it's interesting. I'm enjoying listening to your experiences that you have, because I resonate with some of them very, very clearly. I have the same kind of
Yeah, me too. I'm very honored that we can share that, and it's always very, you know, comfortable and nice to feel like because there is a sense we don't know what's happening for real,
hmm
in like we see that we are applying, some love and movement and everything, and we see the results. But what is truly happening? This is gonna stay a mystery, and that's the beauty of it. It stays a mystery, but it's nice that
Absolutely.
yeah, it's nice to be able to share it with people feeling the same. That's very cool. Thank you for that. Hmm.
Thank you too. The so you're doing these things now, and so that was kind of like roughly the move of your story from, I call story your life basically, of moving from basically a very normal HR, kind of job to being a healer and really learning a lot of things to becoming like a full-fledged healer where many different modalities, and then realizing at some point you're moving into the intuitive healing because it's even more powerful, and to the conscious healing. And so if you were to say to people who are in the current state which they are in, if they want to move into a higher consciousness. Okay. So of course they can come to you.
Yeah.
That always works. But let's say they don't have the resources to come to Costa Rica.
Mhm.
Do you do online, by the way, also something or
Yeah,
nothing? Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Ah,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
I
So
just
people
mentioned.
can contact you if they feel they want to raise their vibration and their chakras
Yeah,
online, etc.
there is many things we can do online, especially like movement and dancing and like rituals. There are rituals that work online, but I would recommend also to see like a somatic bodywork therapist and on the side at the same
hmm
time.
hmm hmm
Yeah, like if there is something I would recommend for people to higher their frequency and to be back to the body,
hmm
like to
hmm
stop, like to leave their phone on the side for a while, leave their brain on the side of the phone on the table, and just get back in the body. Just like feel, with a little, yeah, a little cuddling or something.
What would you say that for you was the biggest shift that you went through, where you say that was, now consciously thinking about it, that was really a major shift,
Mm, that was consciously I made a shift.
or where you're conscious of it, that there was a big shift, kind of, or both,
Hmm.
whatever comes up in you where you feel like you want to share.
Yes, I've been doing a the armoring uh,
The
retreat,
armoring, yeah. hmm
so I can say I am the armored. Yoo-hoo!
You.
This is work. I will not enter in the detail of this practice, but it is so powerful. And so the shift didn't happen during the
You
retreat or
don't want to
during.
go into detail?
No, I don't want to go into detail. Like, that's just like I don't want. I hope you're gonna have a podcast with some of those people who provide this. It's amazing.
Send
Um,
them my way.
but yeah, but basically, it's using the sexual energy to unlock the armor on your chakras.
Yes.
And so you don't have any armors, which has those armors has been created by the surroundings since you were a child to protect you from guilt and shame and fear and everything. And so you become like a very adapted version of yourself in the society, but not necessarily the version of yourself that life wants you to be, right?
Yes.
So going through this process is the intention to give more space to this version. And yeah, for me that was a crazy shift. Um, and it is what allowed me to accept who I am fully now, and to
Mm.
just be with, like, for example, I'm doing this podcast right now, I'm not I'm fluent in English, but I know I have like lots of way of talking that are not right and everything. I don't care.
No, it's
This
fine.
is,
It's good.
well, but I mean, I know you, for you
For
it's fine,
for a
but for me it's
French
not.
person, for a French person, it's quite good.
Yeah, thank you. But once again, it's just giving credit to the fact that people and world and love you the way you are. You don't need to be performing. You don't need to show off. You don't need to be
Yes,
someone you think people expect you to
yes.
be, right?
Hmm.
And when you sit in this energy of just like not being the high achiever person for the sake of who actually you don't even know, but when you're just like going through life with love for yourself and self-acceptance and gratitude for everything that's around, well, this is peace. This is what we are meant to experiment, I guess. I wonder myself, like, what is it that I signed for when I decided to incarnate? If it's not this, you know,
The
I'm too much a
acceptance
playful.
or
No,
the acceptance or
the
being a
joy.
healer or both?
No, just being here
Ah,
and being grateful with what is around and the joy and just
ah,
like going through life with a perfect acceptance of everything what is, like it's just I'm a perfect playful person. I like to enjoy things. I like to have fun. I'm pretty sure as a as a spirit, something has to seduce me in this world. If not, I don't incarnate. I don't know. Yeah.
yeah. That's a
So
good
it must
one.
be this. It must be this. It must be this. Look at that. Just the light, just the beauty. Isn't it crazy? And I know this is like people would say, that, and this is maybe the last advice I would give. Like people say that,
Hmm.
yeah, we don't have all the resources, but whatever we do in life is a choice.
Absolutely.
Like there is not a moment where we're not choosing. And even when we decide to choose small,
Hmm.
it's a choice
Yes,
because it's what is more comfortable for us right now, and it's absolutely okay.
yes.
So there is no luck. There is only choice.
Just 2 days ago, I started the last 2, 3 days, I started to receive a lot of downloads. And one of these downloads was super clear that if you have a desire, and that desire is, say, anchored in like sometimes I call it like a soul desire, where you feel like you want from inside, or even if it's just like your chakras talking, whichever chakra it is, then and you feel like this energy comes into your brain and it forms into kind of like an idea of how you want to experience it, then I and it doesn't match in the sense like the universe doesn't give it to you. It's not manifesting in some way. There
Mhm.
was a moment where I very clearly recognized it's not matching because my frequency is not yet high enough. And so the universe has tremendous abundance. It's everywhere. Like you say, when you turn around the camera, everything is beautiful. And when you have the ability to release the density, for example, through the work that you do when people come to you and they release the density that they have from the karmic imprints, from the emotions, from the past, everything, previous lives, etc., then, oh, I think she just dropped out. Are you still there? I think she just dropped out. I'm just gonna finish finish the thought. Um, or did we completely drop out of the meeting? No, we're still there. Okay, so yeah, I think she dropped out. I don't know if she comes back, but I'll just finish the thought that that when we, let's say you go to her and you release the energy with her, then you come into a higher frequency, and then automatically being high in a higher frequency, you start to do the things automatically that then match and manifest what you are trying to experience. And unless you release these dense engine energies, then it's going to be um almost impossible to have that light feeling and manifesting feeling where things then happen. It's I have a good example. Like if you are grumpy, then nobody wants to be much in touch with you except other grumpy people. And when you move into high frequency, then you will see that the option to connect with different people will become much wider. That's just a simple example of how things change when you move into a high frequency. Of course, there's then the metaphysical component to it. So I thank Maya so much for being here. Unfortunately, it was a really, really nice podcast. Unfortunately, she dropped out with internet connection. But I think I'm gonna link her. So if you want to speak more to her, you can see it in the description and contact her. I think especially if you're planning to go to Costa Rica or you're close to it or you want to work with her online, I think that's absolutely a great opportunity to look at your chakras. Okay. And so I wish you a super nice day. If you want to know,